Okay, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning, everyone. I hope that you are all doing very well for today. Now, today we are going to be doing something else. So, since the past 4 days we have covered on paper one, which is your reading and use of English, and today we are going to be focusing on paper two. But before that, I'd like to introduce myself again. I am teacher Husna. If you are new, welcome to Tavis and welcome to my class. So, as I said before, I am teacher Husna. So you can address me as teacher. You can also address me as Miss. All right. So for your English SPM paper, your code is 1119. So don't forget that it's 1119. So today we are on lesson 5 and we are going to be doing writing. So this is your paper 2. Okay, first of all, as you all know that paper 2 has few parts. Okay, and I will introduce that to you in a while. Okay, but before that, we are going to be covering on part 1. Okay, so part 1. And our aims for today, we are going to be recognizing few vocabularies in writing. We are also going to take a look at few grammar stuff as well. So I hope that you are ready for that. And please make sure you prepare pen and paper to jot down any notes. Okay. And we are also going to look at some of the tips and strategies on how you can tackle part 1. And this part 1 is essentially on email. Okay, so it is a short communicative message and you have to write an email. Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. So, firstly, I would like to introduce you to a quote from John Steinbeck. So, he says that ideas are like rabbits. You get a couple and learn how to handle them, and pretty soon you have a dozen. So, when it comes to this quote here, it's all about you evolving your ideas. You want to develop your ideas one at a time. All right. So once you have that one particular idea and you can evolve it, you can develop that ideas into many. So that's why he says the ideas are like rabbits. Um, Basically, when you have a couple of rabbits, male and female, and definitely you have the babies, right? You have the babies, and definitely it's kind of like your ideas as well. So let your idea flows as uh, as usual. All right. Whenever that you need to try and speak something, also, you need to try and develop ideas as well. Right. So here I'm going to introduce to you what are the requirements for paper one. Sorry, paper two, part one. Sorry, paper two, part one. Okay. So again, as we all know, that part one is all about communicative message. So you need to write it in short, and it is about email. And for your paper two, as you all know, there are 3 parts, and overall there are 60 marks. Okay, so each part will be divided in 20. Okay, so 20 marks. And also your time limit for your paper 2 is 90 minutes or 1 hour and 30 minutes. All right. So in part 2, you will be given a question as well, and this is a guided writing and it is an essay. When it comes to part 3, this is extended writing. It is also an essay writing, but you have to only choose one question from 3 questions given. Okay, you got to choose one question. This is part 3, and we are going to cover that in the next lessons. Okay, now moving on. How to ace part 1 SPM writing paper. Now, everybody will say that, Allah, writing email is simple. So I'm just going to use my simple English, simple words, and done. Okay. But before that, you have to know there is an assessment scale. Okay, there is an assessment scale. What is assessment scale? Okay, so this is about your marks. Each component will be will be looked at these. Okay, you need to score the highest of 5. So they will focus on, okay, the examiner will focus on your content, they will focus on your organization, they will also focus on your language, and they will also focus on your communicative achievement. So these are the mark components. All right. So you have to make sure that you need to try and at least score around 3 to 4 marks. And if you have excellent vocabulary and if you think you can write super duper well, then you may score 5 for each. Okay. Now, I would like to tell you, a few things about the content. Now, you have to make sure that all content is relevant to the task. So whatever that you are going to write, make sure that it's whatever is given in the task. So for example, if let's say the task is to find out, what are the ideas to go for a camping trip. So make sure that you provide ideas for that camping trip. Then you got your score already. And when it comes to the organization, please make sure also that you have to organize. Okay? You have to organize your writing. So how can we do that, teacher? I organize really well. Yeah, everybody can organize really well, but it's all about the structure of writing your whole email. But teacher, email is simple, right? Yes, I know it's simple, but you need to know how to write it. So there is a structure that you need to follow. And it is also essential for you to use some cohesive devices. Now, I'm sure your teacher at school already taught you this, but I'm just going to simply brief you on that. So when it comes to cohesive devices, these are all, we can say, sentence connectors. So when you want to connect a first idea, then you want to go to the second idea. So definitely you need to have that connector, right? It's like when you are talking, right? When you are talking, there are parts, right? So there are structures when it comes to your speaking, but you need to know how to say what is next. So there you go. There's your clue. Next, you keep on saying, okay, next, moving on, something like that, right? So in this case, for writing, you have to make sure that you have to use the sentence connectors, such as, what do we have? First of all, furthermore, moreover. You can try and use this instead of just saying, first, I do this, second, I do this. That is simple. So in order for you to score a 5, simple is okay, but in order for you to score this 5 here, right, this 5 here, please make sure you try and add on more interesting words, more interesting vocabularies. Okay, instead of saying next, you can say in addition. You can also say furthermore, right? So it's all about here, organization. All right. Then moving on to your language. Now, when it comes to language, it's all related to the organization. So if you are using good vocabulary, then there you go. You can actually score quite high in your mark here. All right. And again, you need to try and make sure your vocabulary is not so plain. All right. So, like yesterday, I said about the word nice. A lot of us like to use the word nice. A lot of us like to use the word good, right? It is good. So instead of saying the word good, all right, so let me just write it down. So instead of saying just the word good, all right, so just the word good. Now, there are so many other interesting words for good. Okay, instead of saying the word nice, okay, I like your dress today. It's nice. Can you see that? Sometimes people can say, "Oh, thank you." Okay, maybe they are in a lovely mood, then they can accept. But some will say, "Oh, nice. What do you mean by nice?" It's like they want more. So instead of saying just nice, you can say they look gorgeous, right? They look what else? Attractive. Okay. So you can see that you are building your language vocabulary also, right? So instead of saying just some plain words like good and nice, you can build your vocabulary. So how can you do that? Teacher, I'm not good at reading. I'm not good at grammar. I'm not good at vocabulary. Okay, what you can do is you can always try and use thesaurus. Apa tu thesaurus? What is that thesaurus? Okay, let me just spell it out for you. Thesaurus. Oh, sorry, not D. A. Okay, thesaurus. Okay, thesaurus is all about synonym. Where can you do that? Where can you find that? You can use dictionary.com. Okay, you can use dictionary.com. For me, as a teacher, it's also helpful for me to know other words rather than just some plain words. Okay, and then when it comes to the last one here, communicative achievement, you need to have a smooth flow of ideas. All right. So when it comes to smooth flow of ideas, it means that the examiner can read it pretty nicely, can also understand the whole content of your writing. All right. So if they see that, okay, now this looks like a very much excellent work. You have scored really well on your content, on your organization and your language. And I think that for communicative achievement, this guy or this girl can score quite high as well. So you need to have that smooth flow of ideas for you to score a 5. Okay, I hope you got that. Now, we're going to move on to the next one. But so far, is there any question? But most of the time, silence means all okay. Okay, I hope you all are okay so far. Now let's see what are the strategies for paper 2 part 1. What are the strategies? Okay, first of all, when you start your writing, there are stages that you need to follow. What are the stages that you can follow? What are they? Okay, you have to make sure that you break it up. All right, you break it up into 3 parts. Okay, so what we can do is, first of all, we can start with the before writing. Okay, so we have 3 parts. All right, so we have 3 parts, and we can break it up into before, and then the middle, the mid, okay, and then the end. Whenever you need to start writing or whenever you need to do something also, there is a beginning, right? There is a beginning. So in that beginning, we call that as the before, and then the mid, and then the end. All right. So please make sure you know how to start writing first of all. So let's see, what is the before? Okay, what is the before? Before writing, you have to make sure that you read and understand the task given. So whatever the question, the task is actually the question. So whatever the question is given to you, and then what do you need to do? The task is actually what do you need to do? What do you need to do? What do you need to write? What do you need to respond? What do you need right there? Okay, so you need to read and understand fully. Okay, don't just understand as basic as it is. Okay, try to develop your ideas at the same time too when you read and understand the task given. And then what you can do, next one, is highlight and circle keywords. You can highlight and circle keywords. What are the keywords? So you can identify that in the task given. What does it need you to do? You need to ask yourself that first. What is it asking you to do? All right. So you need to ask yourself. So that's where you can try and identify the keywords. And moving on, manage your time. All right. So you need to manage your time. So how we can manage our time in every part that I did on part one, I gave you a simple math of how you can manage your reading paper. All right, you can manage each of the parts. So for this one also, I did simple calculation for you, a simple math for you. Okay, but to tell you, please do not rush when you read and when you start writing also. Please do not rush yourself. Okay, because you do not want to lose mark. And this, although this part is easy, but it is 20 marks. All right, it is 20 marks. So you have to know it's 20 marks. So don't rush when it comes to developing or when it comes to evolving your ideas. Okay, when it comes you constructing your ideas as well. And how you can do that? You can try and brainstorm your ideas. So how can we try and brainstorm our ideas? Take a minute, all right? Take a minute to try and maybe do a bubble diagram or maybe a spider diagram. All right? Maybe, just a simple, maybe as simple as bubble diagram. How? So a bubble diagram, so you have to write your ideas here. Okay, what are your ideas? Maybe first idea number one, then idea number two, if you have. Okay, it's not essential for you to be writing down 10 ideas. No, you can try and include two ideas because you have word limit. You have word limit. Please make sure that you have with your words is within the limit that it's given. Okay, so you need to make sure that, okay, maybe if you have three, now which one do you think will be the best? So you start to come out with, maybe, okay, I will choose three and I will choose number one. Number two, okay, then remove. All right. So this is how you can brainstorm ideas and you can try and come up with maybe a few things. Okay, so if the question asks you about ideas for a camping trip, right? What maybe you can think about stuff that you need to bring. Stuff to bring. What can we bring? Right here, maybe the time and place. Right? The time and place. Okay, these can be your ideas too. Okay, now moving on. I want to show you a sample email instruction. Okay, so here is your email instruction. Here it says you will receive an email from your friend Jimmy who is interested in joining a weekend art class with you. So here we have to know, okay, what is it asking you to do? Nothing yet. There's nothing yet, right? It's only mentioned here you receive an email from friend, Jimmy, and interested in joining a weekend art class with you. Okay? And is that all? Yes, there is all. And please make sure word limit. Understand this word limit. So you are to write about 100 words. But teacher, can I write 100 words? Can you write 100 words? Yes, you can. You can write 100 words, but make sure there is no repetition. Make sure that the ideas are not redundant, are not, I would say, not similar to the one that you mentioned before. Please make sure you don't do that. All right. How you can do that is you recheck and you reread. Okay. Make sure that you recheck and you reread whatever that you have written. So you got to know that if you exceed 80 words, it's fine because the word says here about. All right. It doesn't say minimum 80 words. It doesn't say maximum 80 words. Yes, you can go over 100. I don't mind. But again, the scoring of CA, communicative achievement, is the idea flowing smoothly. So you got to know that as well. Although that you can write so many ideas, your ideas are like are like waterfall. It's coming out like crazy. But again, we got to know CA, communicative achievement. It's very, very important. If your idea is not flowing, it's like it's not flowing like a river, very smooth kind, then you will struggle on this part. But if let's say your ideas are like the waves of the sea, lagi lah, that one there. Oh no, okay, it shows that you're struggling in your ideas, although that you can write so many words. Okay, so be careful with your CA, communicative achievement. Okay, now let's see the next one. Here is a sample message for you. Okay, so again, that is just the instruction. Just now was the instruction. Okay, and here, this is the question, or to get the ideas flowing. So he says, "Hi, it was great to meet you again. I like painting too, just like you. Let's join a weekend art class. Where shall we go and when should we register for classes? What should we bring for the first class?" What should we bring for the first class? Okay, this one should be question mark. All right, where shall we go and when should we register for classes? What should we bring for the first class? So here you can identify straight away what's the task about. So the task will be your content. So you can see that it's asking you about where. It's asking you about when. Identify the keywords. And then the keywords for this part is the question, WH question. So where shall we go? When should we register for classes? And what should we bring? So what to bring for the first class? And I'll be waiting for your reply. Bye. Okay. So now that we identify the keywords, now we got to think of, okay, place. All right. So now we got to think of place. Maybe not the right color. Maybe I'll choose a pink color, maybe. Okay. So you got to think of a place. And then you got to think of the maybe time. When should we register for classes? Maybe time. And this one, stuff to bring. All right, so three things that you need to complete here. So if you have this in your response, right? If you have this in your response, a tick, 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 tick for you. Overall, you can score maybe, I don't know, 20 out of 20? No. Are you sure? Every part is odd per 5. Colca. Right? How many? 20. So maybe you can score 20 out of 20 if you are using from intermediate to advanced vocabulary. So like I said, if you are going to just use the word nice, the word good, the word lovely, it's okay. But if you're just going to keep it simple, plain, hmm, do you think that you can get 20? Maybe here, maybe a 2, because you are using the word nice, good, and maybe it's repetitive. Maybe in the next sentence or in the next paragraph, you have the word nice again. So you can see that maybe you score a 2. Or here, maybe you have a good organization. So maybe the examiner will give you a 3. Content wise, okay, excellent. You have your content. You have tick, 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 right? So you are given a 5. But your CA is the idea flowing well? Maybe yes, maybe no. Okay, so I would put here 3. So overall, 5, 3, 2, 3, 5, 5, 5, 5, 10, only 13 out of 20. But it's a good score, right? At least it's over 10, or at least it's over 10, half of the mark of the overall mark. But do you want this mark? I'm sure not. Okay, so here I would really want you to try and score on how you can answer really well for your part 1. And that's why we are having this intensive and comprehensive session with you. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next one. This is the middle part. All right, so this is the middle part. This is during writing. So when you are about to start your writing, please make sure that you keep your language informal. Okay, you keep your language informal. But how to differentiate, teacher? How to differentiate between informal and formal? How? Okay, the words are very simple. Whatever that you use when you are speaking to a friend, right? When you write an email, it's the same thing, right? When you speak to a friend, what kind of language that you use? Do you say, um, could you please come with me to the camping trip? Yes, you can. You can also say, would you like to come with me to the camping trip? Yes, you can, right? Because it's considered informal. But when it comes to formal, this is more likely that you want to write a letter, maybe the language itself. However, I would consider not going with you because you can see that the language is already something else, right? You can see, and you can actually notice as well that the language is not like what you are using when it comes to speaking. Okay, so when it comes to informal language, make sure that you can use whatever words that you use for speaking with a friend or with a relative or with your mom, if your mom is your best friend, right? And also, you have to try and use good vocabulary and cohesive devices. There you go, cohesive devices, very important. All right, good vocabulary means try and use from intermediate to advanced kind of vocabulary. So instead of saying the word nice, you can use lovely. You can use attractive, maybe. But it depends on the situation as well. It depends on the context too. Okay. Now, next one, please make sure that you keep these sentences simple. Okay, you keep the sentences simple by using simple and compound sentences. What are these two? These are the types of sentences. Okay, we have types of sentences such as simple, compound, complex sentence, compound complex sentence, but I'm not going to go to that because for email, it's all about simple sentences. All right, so I'm going to do this with you later on in the lesson. All right, so I hope that you have your pen and paper with you. Now, so far, are you all well? If you are well, if you are okay so far, can you type for me A? Can you type in the room chat A? Okay, again, today another silent bunch, huh? Today, another silent bunch. All right. Okay, silence can also mean a good thing too. I mean, like you understood the whole thing. Okay, that's great. All right. Now I'm going to move on to informal language. What kind of vocabulary or what kind of phrases that you can use in informal language. Okay, I hope that you got your pen and paper ready. Okay, so here we go. Now, when it comes to writing anything, there's always these three, right? There's always this three part, the opening, and then you have your content, and you have your final paragraph before you conclude the whole thing, before you close the whole thing, right? But in this case, for email, it's pretty simple. Now, when it comes to the opening, now, did you notice that in this sample email message, all right, in this sample email message, the opening is actually the greetings. Okay, so what is the vocab or what is the word to greet this person? What is it? So you can see that here says hi, right? Here says hi. So this is the opening, right? But you can also include his or her name. You can do that too. So in order for you to do that, you can write, okay? You can write something, oh sorry. You can write something as simple as hi Joe, if the person that you are writing to is Joe. All right, if you know that you are going to respond to Joe, then you can say hi Joe. Now, in some cases there is also an apostrophe. Hi Joe. Hi Joe. But for email purposes, when you want to say it out, when you want to write it out, it's much better that you leave it out and put it here because you want to end the whole hi Joe, the whole greeting. Hi Joe. Okay. So you can also use such as hello. All right. And a bit more formal, but you can also use it in informal too, but not recommended. Okay, not recommended. You can use dear Sarah, right? Dear Sarah. Make sure that you have your comma here. Okay, you have your comma here. This is also added mark for CA. Okay, so dear Sarah. So if we are going to use this comma here, then we know it's going to be a flow of an idea. Okay, so again, greetings. You can use hi Joe or hello only. I don't mind, but if you want to write a name, you are allowed to. Okay, but please make sure that the name is all about who you are going to respond to. Please don't come up with some random names. Okay, most of the time the questions will have a name from whoever it is. Okay, so just now the email was from a friend Jimmy, right? You receive an email from your friend Jimmy. So the question will have a name included. Okay, so you have to know that it's to Jimmy. So it's either dear Jimmy or hi Jimmy, but like I said, this is not recommended. Okay, this is the most recommended because it's considered informal. All right. Now, when it comes to the content, please make sure that your idea is basically from whatever the question is from the task given. So for this one, it's focusing on the place, right? We already identified that. It's about the place, it's about the time, and it's about the stuff to bring. So right now, you have to try and brainstorm your ideas. Okay, where can we go? Where can we go? What time can we go? What are the stuff that we can bring? All right. So you got to make sure that you have those ideas. So how you can do that? Like I said before, you can do a bubble diagram, you can do a spider diagram, maybe as simple as, okay, place. Place, okay. Where do you want to go? If you are going to just write here Selangor, it's not specific, you see? So give a specific name. Where do you want to go for this campaign trip? Maybe Tugu Negara, right? Tugu Negara. Instead of saying Selangor. Where else can you go? Maybe to a waterfall, maybe Kancing waterfall. Oh, that would be fun, right? Yeah, for example. Okay, this is just an example of places, right? But for this case here, this is all about the art class. Okay, weekend art class. So the places, it cannot be this, Kancing Waterfall, Tugu Negara, your content will be out already. Cannot be accepted because it's nothing to do with the weekend art class. It's nothing to do with this. So please be careful. So maybe you could think about places to places to meet, right? Places to meet. Maybe at school or maybe at a bus stop, right? Those are places. So please make sure that you have to keep it to where the task is asking you to do or to respond to. So where shall we go and when should we register for classes? Where shall we go? So maybe a place like canteen or maybe a lab, maybe the science lab, right? Or maybe at school gate, right? The school gate. And at what time? So you know that this art class starts at maybe 10, right? Maybe 10 a.m. So roughly maybe you want to have breakfast together, then we could meet around what, 8 a.m., right? So you could say 8 a.m. Now make sure you have a spelling of A dot M dot. It's not A M, okay, because A stands for something, M stands for something too. All right. And you can also write 8 o'clock in the morning. You can also write this way as well. Okay. So you can write that way as well. So now we know the time to meet. And if let's say you wish to meet at the canteen, then take the canteen and stuff to bring. What are you going to bring for this weekend art class? Can you bring can you bring can you bring a tent? Can you bring a tent? Huh? Why are we bringing a tent? This is just an art class, right? So maybe you are required to bring A3 paper, right? Your own, maybe you would like to have your own A3 paper, right? A3 paper. Maybe you want to bring your best watercolor, and maybe you want to bring some food because you want to have breakfast together, right? Maybe you want to bring what? Sandwiches. But is it suitable for the whole first class? Because you're going to enter that class, right? You're going to enter that class. I think you have to bring some related items. Okay, related items to the first class. So what else can you bring? Teacher, I only have two ideas. Okay, I'm okay with two ideas. Okay, you don't have to go as maximum of five. No, you don't have to, because this is again word limit only 80 words. 80 words. All right. So if you have two ideas, that will be okay already. But if you want to exceed, if you want to get an excellent mark, maybe you could add on one more. Maybe you want to bring crayons, or maybe you want to bring your special pencil, art pencil. All right. So entirely up to you. Okay. So I hope that you got that. All right. So again, for your content, so it's asking you about what the ideas for the weekend art class. So you can try and say as simple as what a oh sorry you can respond like what a great idea, right? What a great idea. Okay, to have the exclamation mark, it means that you are really feeling great already for the idea, uh, um, for whatever the person is suggesting. Okay, but in this case, there are no ideas suggested by the writer, so there's no need for this. Okay, but this is just a sample for you to know. Okay, what a great idea. Or you can also say something like, yes, I would definitely. I hope that you can see this. Yes, I would definitely love to join you for this weekend art class. Okay, so this is how you can start off with the whole um, during paragraph. The middle part of the whole writing. Okay, so you can start off something like this, and you can say what are the ideas that you are supposed to be writing about. So now we know place, the time, and also stuff to bring. So you can write it here. All right. So you can start off writing it here. Okay. Now for email, it doesn't have it's not crucial for you to be writing down in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. It's not that crucial. Okay, it's not that important, but it's just that you want to have that idea flow really smoothly. Okay, the idea is flowing smoothly, the idea is flowing as great as you want. All right, and as great as the examiners want. Okay, and the final paragraph. Now when it comes to the final paragraph, you can have a sort of like an inviting idea, right? An inviting idea. Maybe you could have another friend, right, in the picture. You can have another friend in the picture. If, let's say, this part here, you have around what, 50 words. All right. If this part here is only 50 words, because you are now left with another. If you only write hi, this is just one, so 51. So you are left with another 29 words. So what else can you write? So you can have this an inviting idea. How, teacher? How can we have inviting idea? Like I said, you can invite a friend in. Maybe you could start by saying like if you want a longer one. Okay, I have an idea of something like this. I think I think I think we should I think we should take I don't know, maybe a name like Ali. I think we should take Ali with us. Why? Okay, at least a reason why we should bring her. Yeah, maybe because maybe she loves drawing too, right? So you can say because she is so maybe you can say an amazing artist, right? An amazing artist. So you are having another reason why we are bringing her into the weekend art class. So how many words do we have now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There you go. Now you have 14 words. So just now we had 51, right? So 5 and 6, 5. Okay, 65. So you're now left with another 15 more words. So in that 15 more words, you can have it in the closing paragraph. So how can you close this email? How? How can you close this email? How can we close this email? How can we end the whole invitation? You know, how? How can we end this? Maybe you could say we will have so much fun, right? We will have so much fun. So keep in touch, right? I am sure, maybe something like this. I am sure that we will have so much fun. Please, please, write back soon. Okay, maybe something like this if you want to, or if you do not prefer to have, please write back soon. All right. If you don't prefer to have this, then you can say, I am sure that we will have so much fun. Take care or see you soon. Right? It's much better. Don't you think so? Don't you think so? It's much better. Right? Maybe we could erase this. Right? We could erase this and we can replace it with I'm sure that we will have so much fun. See you soon. Okay, so here, how many words do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. It's considered all right if you have added the word Jimmy here, right? If you added the word Jimmy here, or maybe this one maybe more than 50 words, right? So more or less you can have around 90 words, maybe. Okay, so you can see there it's considered a good email response already. A good email response already. All right. Now, I hope that you are okay with all this, you know, the opening, the greetings. I hope that you are taking your notes with you. All right. I hope that you are doing that. Okay. Now, I'm going to introduce to you the next one. This is about cohesive devices. Okay. Cohesive devices. Now, when it comes to cohesive devices, okay, I actually put up on a whiteboard. Okay, I put it up in whiteboard for you. Okay, now here this is all about the cohesive devices for introducing a supporting idea. If you have an idea and you want to have a support for it, you can use words such as the one that I introduced before, you know, in the beginning of the class. like first of all, or moreover, furthermore, in addition to that, right? Now, for the word, this is funnier. This word, in addition to that, in addition to that, this is actually not four words. No, this is not four words because the similar term for this is like moreover or furthermore. This is just one word. Funny, right? Same goes with the words such as even though. Please make sure you spell even though correctly. Even though. It's a two word, okay? It's apart, not together. Okay, I've seen a lot of the students, they write even though together. No, no, no. Okay, even though, right? Even though this is one word. Okay, this is considered one word because it can be however. However is one word. Okay, so you got to make sure that you have to know how to count the words as well. And how you can do that is where you can always check on your vocabulary. Where can we check our vocabulary? Even I myself as a teacher, I use dictionary.com. Okay, but please make sure that you know your words, you know your vocabulary, especially when it comes to writing. It's not that I don't encourage you to read, but sometimes, some students that I have, they ask me, teacher, what to read, teacher? Okay, you can read the headlines, but headlines doesn't really help much, but maybe some of the vocabulary that consider very new to you, then it's okay. But if let's say in this case, cohesive devices, when it comes to cohesive devices, you need to read the whole article. Right, you need to read the whole article. But if you're not a fan of reading, then you can always try and use that website for you to try and see what are the words that you can use. Okay, now coming back to this, when it comes to introducing any supporting ideas in any paragraph, you can always use this. And when it comes to giving opinions, right? When it comes to giving opinions, you can say I think, you can say I believe, you can say I prefer as well. I prefer to bring this with me. Like for example, just now, the idea was to bring something. So maybe you can say I prefer. Okay, so I prefer to bring uh to bring a few of my art utensils. It's not an equipment, right? Art utensils like your paintbrush, right? Your color, your watercolor, your crayons. Maybe you have like, you know a big a big package of whatever art stuff inside, right? So when it comes to giving opinion, you can use some of these words, or sorry, some of these phrases. I think, I believe, or I prefer. But if you want to say, you want to give examples, you can use for example, or you can use like, or you can use such as. Okay, so in this case, a few of my art utensils, such as. If you want to add on examples, such as paint brushes, right? Paint brushes. Okay, I'll erase this. Okay, so paint brushes, and right, if your ideas are only two for the utensils, okay, then we can say paint brushes and um what else you have? Sculpting sculpting tools. If you have, if you need to sculpt something, or if you need to try and create something using maybe a clay, right? That is an art class. Okay, so maybe you have these with you. Okay, so this is how you can use to introduce an example or examples. In this case, examples. Okay, you have two examples. All right, you got that? You got that, everybody? I hope so. Okay, now moving on to our lesson. Okay, so here I have provided for you a few phrases that you can use in order for you to score really well for your cohesive devices. And this is under your language, especially. Okay, now, next part is a little wordy, I would say, because I am going to introduce to you some words, okay, some words that you can replace with these. Okay, I have for you happy, funny, sad, and I also have for you good, like, cheap. This is about any amount, okay, the least amount. Okay, cheap, and also taste, touch, and smell. This is all about your senses. So let's go through one at a time. So when you are happy, so instead of saying the word happy, you can also use other words to make it more interesting, to make it livelier, right? To make your writing livelier. So if you say that you are happy, you can describe that happiness that you are feeling at that time. Maybe you can say you are amused, right? You can say you are amused, you are delighted, you are joyful, or ecstatic. Or if you want to go to an advanced, right? Or you want to go to an advanced level, over the moon. Over the moon. I always remember this, over the moon, like this character in movie Sing. If you watch the movie Sing, there is Sing 1, Sing and Sing 2. Okay, this man, I would say a man because it's a man's voice. Um, the koala, Buster Moon. Yeah, I always remember him. Okay, so over the moon. So you can use this when you are super 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 duper happy. Next one, funny. If you think something is funny, if you think that the idea that you are about to give is funny, you can say comical, or you can say entertaining. And if you want to go to an advanced level, maybe you can say gleeful, or hilarious. These are all from intermediate to advanced vocabularies. Okay, so it's good enough that you know a few for funny, for happy, and for sad, and other words that will be introduced to you later. So for sad, if you feel sad, describe that sadness. How do you feel sad? Because sad is, I can say, subjective as well. When you say sad, it's either you are sad upset, or you are sad, you want to cry, right? So describe. Is it depressed? Is it crushed? Or is it miserable? Right? But if you feel like you're sad, but you are mad, you are kind of like in anger at the same time, you can say upset. Okay? You can use all of these words in your writing in order for you to score really high. All right? Now move on. Next one. Another words for good. So instead of saying the word good, okay, it's plain. It's just simple. Okay? So you can say amazing, you can say marvelous. Now, please note that you need to spell correctly as well. Okay, you need to spell correctly as well. Although you can make simple mistakes, but please, if you want to score really high, please make sure that you have spell all words correctly. All words correctly. All vocabulary correctly. So if you want to spell marvelous, it has to be double L because we are using British English. All right, we are using British English, so it's double L. And you can see that American, they have one L, right? And we are not using American English, we are using British English. So please be careful in your spelling. All right. So marvelous, excellent, splendid, terrific, exceptional. So this is how you can see that it's describing the word good. Okay. Next one, like. If you say, I like this, I like that, she likes this, he likes that, my dad likes this, my mom likes this. Okay. Like is too dull. Like is too dull. So instead of that, describe the word like. How is this person liking something? Is it fond of? Is it enjoy? Is it adore? Or is it desire or wish? Right? But please be careful. You know how each functions in a sentence. If you are going to say, I like, um, I know I like to use I like. Okay, maybe we could try and use some other pronouns like cat, right? Cat. Oh no, cat wishes. The, does a cat wish? That's funny, right? Okay. So, a name, maybe the man, the charming, the charming man, the charming man wishes to marry, to marry, oh, sorry, to marry his dream girl, right? In this case, he is wishing to marry his dream girl. But if you change it to the charming man likes to marry his dream girl, you know, it doesn't really suit the whole context, the whole idea of this charming man marrying the dream girl. Okay, so you have to make sure that it's suitable enough, it's appropriate enough, it's properly used in that particular sentence. Okay, so how do you do that? You need to try and find out the definition. Okay, now for us, we are the second language learner for English. So how you can do this? You can try and translate them as well. So translate them in BM or in Mandarin or in Tamil, up to you. As long as you know what it means and as long as you know how to use it in a sentence. Okay? And again, this is for cheap, anything to do with prices. So for cheap, you can say affordable, you can say inexpensive or low end or ultra cheap. This is to say it's super duper cheap. Okay, super super duper cheap, right? The 2 ringgit shop, right? Super duper cheap, right? So you can say ultra cheap. All right, so you can use this. Okay, now moving on to other words. Other words for your senses. If you want to use something to do with your taste, you can say tasty, you can say yummy, you can say heavenly. The chocolate cake is heavenly, right? So there you go. You can also say appetizing or delectable, all right? So touch, anything that has to do with anything you touch, right? maybe the whole environment or the whole atmosphere or the whole feeling of an object, right? You can say it's cuddly for a teddy bear or a cat or a dog if you have pets, right? Soft, crumbly. You can also say for any food that is dry, then describe the word dry, or you can also use for something that has a texture really soft, right? So soft, smooth, you can say that, all right? And smell. When it comes to something that smells really good, you can say fresh. You can say it smells wonderful, right? If something that's bad, you can say rotten, or you can say smelly, stinky. Okay, if something smells really sweet, like desserts, you can say this dessert smells divine and sweet, something like that. Now, there is one word that I notice here, taste, divide. Okay, I don't think this is relevant. Okay, so I'm going to remove that. All right. I think there might be a spelling mistake, or I'm not so sure why I put it there. Okay. I cannot remember. I cannot recall. All right, but never mind. These are some of the words that you can use in order for you to describe that one thing from plain to excellent. Okay, now we're going to take a break for 5 minutes. Okay, and what's up next is all about the writing. Okay, it's all about the writing. No, no, no. It's not that I'm asking you to write, but it's applicable in your writing. Okay, so come back in 5 minutes. So see you, and please, please, please spare pen and paper next. All right, so see you in 5 minutes. All right, so welcome back, everybody. Now, I noticed that I know I script this one off. I think I know why. Okay, let's okay. It's not actually divide. It's actually divine. I just thought of that just now. It's divine. Sorry for my spelling error, everybody. Okay, teacher can make mistakes too. Okay, so this is divine. Okay, let me spell it properly. Divine. Divine. Okay, so the taste is divine. So it's similar to heavenly. All right, so you are um, describing it as being so good. All right, so good. But you don't want to use the most plain words, the dull words, right? I can say it's boring word too. So you can say it's divine. All right. So there you go. Now, I actually mentioned before our short break just now about what's up next. Okay, but what is it really about? So here you go. This is all about grammar, everybody. How you can form your sentences. Okay, as you all know, for email, it's all about simple sentences. So please make sure that you have these two types of sentences in your writing. Okay, and this is only applicable in not email only, but you can always use this too. Okay, use these two in other parts of your writing paper. All right, now what are actually simple and compound sentences? Now, simple sentence, you can see from the word simple. So it's just simple. It's just a um, regular short sentences. where you need to have your subject and you need to have one predicate. So one subject and one predicate. So it can also be called as an independent clause. An independent clause. What is independent? When we say something that is independent, it can stay on its own, right? It can stay on its own. It doesn't need anything else other than whatever is given, right? Other than whatever is given or whatever is written or whatever is said. All right. So, for example, for a simple sentence, like for example, we adore, we adore, we adore, we adore, we adore Adele. All right. We adore Adele. But if you want to say we adore, it's also okay because we understand that we love something. We love, right? We adore it. Okay. Instead of saying Adele, we can say we adore it. We adore him. We adore her. We adore them. We adore our mother very much. All right. So you can have this. This is a simple sentence. All right. And it's also called an independent clause because you don't need anything else with it. Like we adore Adele. Okay, I understand that you adore Adele. Or we adore our mother very much. So I understand that you love your mother so much. Right? But when it comes to a compound sentence, now I can say that when it comes to a compound sentence, it's actually just two simple sentences, two sentences of this, and it puts together with a conjunction. It puts together with a conjunctions. What are the conjunctions that we have? We can call them as fanboys. What are fanboy? Is it related to any boy band? Is it related to um any group of boys? Right? You are a fan of this boy band or no? No. Nothing to do with that. And it stands for something. These are all acronyms of whatever the conjunction is. All right. So who can tell me what is F? Who can tell me what is F? Who can tell me what is A? Now, when you use a conjunction, it connects an idea from one idea to another idea. All right, so one sentence to another sentence. And I already mentioned that in my previous classes. A lot of us you love to use the word and. So A stands for and. We love to connect our sentences with and, right? Like for example, I am having I am having my class right now and my students are listening to me, right? So we love to use our and. What else do we have? What else do we love to use? There's one more that I mentioned. So, we love to use the word so. Be, because. Oh, sorry. We love to use because, right? This one stands for or. This one is yet. This one is nor or neither. All right. So, or neither nor. Last one, F stands for. Okay. Now, these are all conjunctions. These are all the connectors that you can use to connect one sentence with another sentence. Now we are going to just use as basic as possible, as simple as possible, words such as your and your or your because. Okay, we're going to use these simple ones only. Okay, no need to complicate yourself. If you want to complicate yourself, if you think that, teacher, I want to use yet, I want to use for, I want to use no, I want to use so, okay, up to you. But as long as you know the purpose of using these conjunctions in your writing. So like I said before, it's all about it's all about two simple sentences put together with a conjunction. So you need to have one sentence and another sentence. All right. So I can give you an example. Let's try and use our whiteboard. Okay, it's a lot better to use a whiteboard. All right. Now, for example, if we are going to say as simple as you like you like rice, right? You like rice. And someone else, maybe a friend of yours, let's give him or her a name. Let's give him a name. Maybe as simple as Tom. Tom loves um, chocolate cake. Yeah, I'm not making you hungry. Yeah? I hope so. I hope not. Okay. Okay, so you like rice, Tom loves chocolate cake. So both of these, this is simple sentence. Okay, I'm just going to write simple as. Okay, simple as. And this is also another simple sentence. Okay, let's highlight this. Okay, simple sentences. And you want to connect these two, right? You want to connect these two to be one full sentence or one whole sentence. Okay, although it's complete, okay, both of these is complete, right? And that's why it's called independent clause. It's a complete sentence. You like rice. Tom loves chocolate cakes. It's a complete sentence, both of this, but you want to make it shorter a little bit, right? You want to make it shorter a little bit, and you can add on a conjunction. So what can we see here? You like rice, Tom loves chocolate cake. So instead of you, maybe we can have this as a name, right? Oh, sorry. We can have this as a name, like um, Mary. Maybe Mary. Mary, so Mary is singular, therefore the verb um, has to agree with the subject here. So Mary likes rice, Tom loves chocolate cake. Now you can see here it's contrast, right, between rice and cake, because rice is something that is a staple food, and this one is more likely like a preference. Your chocolate cake is a dessert, right? So anything that is contrasting, what word or what conjunction can you use? But. All right, so you can use but in this case. So how can you connect the sentence? So here we have Mary likes rice, but, there you go, but Tom loves chocolate cakes. But teacher, I don't want to use but. Can I use other conjunction? Yes, you can. You can also use and if you think that it's appropriate enough, right? It's appropriate enough for this one particular sentence, because this is already one sentence. All right, one sentence. This is one sentence plus this sentence is two sentences. Right? Two sentences. So Mary likes rice, but Tom loves chocolate cake. Okay, we are contrasting the idea of the rice and the cakes. But if let's say you want to say you want to use and, okay, let's try and write and. All right. So Mary likes, okay, likes rice and, okay, you only to mention, both of these people love food, right? Tom loves chocolate. Okay, I'm salivating. Chocolate cakes. Mary likes rice and Tom loves chocolate cakes. Yes, we can use but, we can use and. How about if you want to use or? Okay, or is for options. So if you are given options or if you're given choices and you got to pick one, all right? So you got to pick one, right? So maybe we could have um my sister my sister enjoys watching Netflix. Right? My sister enjoys watching Netflix. And you want to use or. So how can we use or? Right? How can we use an or? My sister enjoys watching Netflix or Astro. Mm, is this correct? Is this correct? My sister enjoys watching Netflix or Astro? Hmm. I already mentioned that for a compound sentence, all right, for a compound sentence, you have to have two simple sentences. Okay, I'm trying to make these as simple as possible for you to understand. So compound sentence, when you say compound, is consider more than one, right? So compound sentences or sentence, it has to have two simple sentences. Now, my sister enjoys watching Netflix. This is one sentence. Now, is this a sentence? Astro, is this a sentence? No, it is not a sentence. No, this is just a word, right? This is just a word, right? This is just a word. So what can we do to this? We have to add on this subject verb. We have to have that subject and verb because here you have your subject and you have your subject, my sister. Okay, my sister here, and you have your verb, enjoys. You have your verb enjoys, and this is a gerund. Okay, watching Netflix. This is your object. All right. So this is a simple sentence of subject, verb, object. Therefore, this one here needs to have something similar as this. My sister enjoys watching Netflix. So it needs a subject and it needs a verb. So we need to have that in order for it to be a compound sentence. Okay? So how can we do this? How can we transform this sentence? All right? So now we have, okay, this is sentence one. Okay, this is sentence number one. My sister enjoys, okay, let's separate this first. My sister, okay, sorry for my bad handwriting, enjoys watching Netflix. And maybe if you can form another sentence, um, hmm, my sister likes um Korean drama. right? Or instead of saying drama, to make it more British, okay, to make it more British sound, Korea soap operas. This is so British, soap operas, right? So we want to combine this and we want to use or, right? So when you want to use or, so you have to take note on, okay, now this one, my sister enjoys watching Netflix and my sister likes Korean soap operas. So if you want to add the word, the conjunction or, then it has to be my sister enjoys watching Netflix or she. Okay, so we can switch this instead of repeating my sister again, we are modifying it, right? We are giving it a pronoun. Okay, as a pronoun here, my sister, she likes Korean soap operas. All right, so now that we have two sentences combined with a conjunction of, with a conjunction of or. But teacher, I do not want to use or. Can I use other conjunction? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. As long as it's appropriate enough. All right, as long as it's appropriate enough, it's suitable enough, and it looks like a proper sentence. It looks good to read and to understand as well. So, what do you want to use? You can use and. My sister enjoys watching Netflix, and she likes Korean soap operas too. Okay, you need to add on another word too, T-O-O. Okay, my bad, T-O-O. And this one will be and. It's just to emphasize a little bit too. Okay, you got that? I hope that you got that. Okay, let's move on to our lesson today. So again, this is all about simple and compound sentences, and you can use these two types of sentences in your writing. Even when I'm talking as well, I love to use the word and, right? So a lot of us will love to use these and or because, right? We can also use so, right, to make sure that you know the whole result of it, right? I enjoy watching this, so something like that, right? So and make sure that you have another simple sentence to make sure that it's a compound sentence. Okay, I hope that you understand that. And lastly, the last part of the whole writing is actually the after writing. Now, the after writing is also important for you, whereby you need to check your tenses, you need to check your spellings. Okay, you need to check your spellings, and you need to check your punctuation as well. Okay, so that's why I emphasize on the comma just now with the high Joe, right? High Joe just now. So please make sure that you know where you want to put your punctuation, especially you have your comma, you have your full stop, right? You have your exclamation mark. Now, do you think it's essential for you to have an exclamation mark? Maybe at the closing paragraph. All right, maybe at the closing paragraph, you want to add on like see you soon. Okay, if it's appropriate enough, if it's good enough, right? If it doesn't look like a shock to the examiner, then you can use an exclamation mark. But if you think that you want to play safe, right? You want to play safe, it's much better that we keep it as that, a full stop. Okay, so see you soon. or take care, right? Other than see you soon, you can say take care. I love to say have a nice day, right? So you can use that as well in the email too. And please make sure once you have done your writing, check all this and proofread your writing. What does it mean by proofreading? Always read and recheck for any spelling errors or for any ideas that you think is not so much important, or you can also look for the word limit, right? You can start counting. Now yesterday I thought of I actually taught you how to count your number of words. Now instead of wasting time to go one at a time, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 100. Oh no, don't waste your time to do that. I always apply how my school teacher taught me. So if you have a lot of words, right? If you have a lot of words, you can cut short by, okay, by jotting down few the letters or the words that is on the first line. Okay, we can try and multiply. This is y and axis graph, something like that. Right? I don't know maths, but I think pretty much something like this, right? So you multiply. So you count the whole words on top. But please remember, if you are going to use in addition to that, there is only one word. Okay, not four words. In addition to that, although it's four, but it's only considered one because it's a similar term to moreover. Because moreover is one word. All right. So please make sure that you know your words before you start to write it. Okay. So here we have five. And if let's say below, okay, if it's complete, right? If it's complete in one line, then it's another five. If you have 10 lines, if you have 10 lines and it's all complete in this, it's parallel, then you multiply 5 if they are 10. 5 times 10 equals 50. So now we can say you have approximately, okay, 50 words approximately, right? Approximately means it's either lesser or more than, okay? It's this sign actually, plus minus, but don't write plus minus in your writing. No. Okay, this is why it's essential for you to proofread your writing. Got that, everybody? Okay, now next one. Another maths. Another maths. Oh no, why maths in English class? Okay, it's just to show you how you are how you are supposed to spend for your paper 2 part 1. How? So a simple math for you. So for your paper 2, as you all know, it's 90 minutes. Okay, 90 minutes only, and you have 3 parts. So part 1, you have to write for 80 words. For part 2, you have to write 150 words, and for part 3, you have to write another 250 words. So how we can do this is we take our timing, 90 minutes, and you divide. What is this? 480 is this. 80 plus 150 plus 250, it's added up to 480. Okay, so the 90 minutes divide by 480 and we multiply by 80. What is this 80? What is this 80? This is the 80. Okay, the part 1. And you will get 15 minutes only. 15 minutes only for your part 1. This is only for part 1. All right. So only for part 1, you are allowed to spend 15 minutes only. So do not exceed, please, because you still have other parts to do, which is your part 2 and part 3. And you have to write a, this one is almost double than the first, and this one is quadruple, right? Quadruple. So please. No, quadruple? No, oh, sorry, teacher, it's so bad at math. This is just triple. Sorry. So this is triple of the whole 80, right? So 50 minutes here. Okay. Now let's try and attempt the question. What do we have here? So first of all, instructions. Important. Read the instruction. Here the instruction says you receive an email from Gilbert or Gilbert. I think it's Gilbert, an old friend who has just transferred to your school. So now we know that we have received an email from Gilbert. He is an old friend who just transferred to your school. So here is his email saying that, hi, it was good to see you since we have a long break. Let's join the school science camp. Where shall we meet and what time should we be there? How much money do you think we should bring to the camp? So now we know that, okay, this is a task for you to do, or for you to complete, for you to solve. And this is the closing paragraph. I'll be waiting for your reply. Bye. Right? So here I've stated for you to only spend 1 minute. For what? For you to read the instruction. This is also another instruction. Okay, now write an email to your friend about 80 words. Write your answer below. Where? Okay, don't worry. In the next slide, I'll show you where you are supposed to write your email. But first of all, we only need to take a minute to read and understand the whole task. So here it's asking you to come up with a place. Where shall we meet? What time? Okay, sorry. Let's underline that again. Okay, what time should we be there and how much money? So he is asking for how much money do you think should we bring to the camp? All right. So now we know that it's a school, it's a school science camp, and we got to locate where we are going to meet. You got to know what time we are supposed to be there or to meet, and we are supposed to know how much money. Okay, so now we can jot down place, time, money. Okay, we can jot this down, time, place, and money. So we can put that in our head. Okay, we got to think of these 3 ideas. Okay, now next is where you are supposed to write your answer. You are supposed to write your response. So I can see that here, okay, you have to write to whom, right? To whom, and this one is the subject. Subject is not about the pronouns that we introduce, I, you, they, we, he, she, it. No, and it's not also subject like that particular subject, maths, English, science. No, it's not. Okay, subject is actually just a short statement of whatever the whole task is about. Okay, now don't fret. Okay, don't fret because we are going to do this together. Okay, now let's identify. Okay, so firstly, here are the steps that you need to do. First of all, we have already spent 1 minute on reading and understanding the whole task. So we are now left with 40 minutes. So in 40 minutes, so you got to identify who sent you the message, what is he or she is seeking for. In this case, is he, right, from Gilbert just now. Then identify the reason for replying. What's the reason for replying? Is it telling a news, or is it giving information, or is it giving advice? Now, for that case just now, we need to find out place, time, and money. It's you responding to, is it telling news? No, it's giving information. You are going to give out information of these three ideas that we got to look at. And then plan your ideas to reply. How you can plan this? I keep on saying you can always do a bubble diagram. You can always do, a bubble diagram is something like this. Okay, you have your task, right? You have your task, and this is your idea one, two, and three. If you plan to do a spider diagram, it's something just like this. It doesn't look like a spider, but yeah. So this is your task. So task one, idea one, two, and idea three. Okay. So how long should we spend on this? Teacher, how long to spend on this? Okay. I'll tell you next. Here. Spend 4 minutes. 4 minutes only. So now we had already spent 1 minute on read and understanding the task, and then we spent 4 minutes here, right? We spent 4 minutes here. So how long do we have left? How long do we have spare now? We have 10 minutes. So that 10 minutes, you can use it up for your email writing. So, but first of all, let's try and apply this layout. Okay, apply this layout for you to write your email. First of all, who is it written by? It was written by Gilbert. And what are the reasons for writing? We know that it's to give information. What sort of information? Gilbert wanted to ask you to join the school science camp, and the place and the time to meet, and the money to take to go to the camp, right? And what are your reasons for replying? Definitely, you want to give out information, right? You're not giving advice. He's not asking you for any advice or any news, right? You are supposed to give out information regarding these. And what are your ideas to reply? This is very, okay, what I mean by very is vary. Okay, it is all entirely up to you. It depends on you. Whatever ideas that you have when you need to reply, when you need to respond to whatever that you should be responding. Okay? So what are the ideas that you have? Most of it is similar to the one that I suggested before. Remember, the first one that I did with you was maybe we could meet, right? If for places, maybe we could meet at canteen, right? You remember that? Okay, so canteen or the school gate, right? Maybe at Pak Ali, Warung Pak Ali, right? Warung Pak Ali maybe. And time, maybe if you want to say 7:30 in the morning. Okay, please make sure you spell correctly A.M. Okay. Oh, sorry, let me just rub this off. Okay, lastly is money. Okay, so the money, how much do you think you should bring to the camp? So if you can think, it's roughly around what, 2 days? Or maybe just one day, if let's say we take it as one day. So one day, maybe you want to bring about 100 ringgit. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, it's okay. It's just a rough number. Okay, this is just an idea. So if you think that you want to meet at the canteen, 7:30 a.m. and 100. So now we know that, oh, we are spending only 4 minutes here. Okay, done. Move on. Okay, so you can use this layout when it comes to answering for email question. All right. Now, here, this is how you can attempt on writing this part. Now, for the two, please make sure that you write full email address. If let's say you are not given any email address, any email domain, okay, like for example, the domain that we can see or we most of us use at gmail.com or at hotmail.com or yahoo.com, right? These are all email domain. Okay, so if let's say it's not given, then you can create your own, but please make sure that you include his name. Don't come up with Please do not come up with any silly ones like Teddy or um, bubbly. Okay, no, just keep it as what is given to you. So if it's Gilbert, so maybe we can have like Gilbert, or Gilbert a number, maybe Gilbert 00, something like that, right? So a full email address, and please use a simple and concise statement. So in this case, the statement is regarding the science camp, right? The school science camp. So you can write that down, right? The school, sorry, the school science camp, because that is the main idea of the whole email is about, right? So you can write school science camp. Okay, now you can see that I said here you have to spend 8 minutes on writing. Why do we have to spend 8 minutes on writing? Because there's one last part that you need to do. Remember that after writing, you need to try and check your tenses, spelling, and your punctuation, and you need to also check your words. You need to proofread your work. You need to proofread your writing. So you can spare that 2 minutes. Okay, spare that for 2 minutes. So again, for this part here, please do not spend too much time thinking, what email? If it's not given to you, then create one. As simple as this, gilbert@gmail.com or gilbert00@hotmail.com. Something as simple as this. Okay? And then for the subject, keep it as simple as this too. All right. Now, here for proofreading, spend 2 minutes. Okay? Once you have done writing, and please make sure you proofread. Now, I'm going to show you which one is better. Is it A or B responses? Now, let's have a read. So here, this is A. He says hi. Okay, he says here now, Gilbert and Cam, hi. Thank you for writing to me. Good to meet you again. I think we can join the camp together. The camp start at 8 a.m., right? We can meet at the science lab around 7:45 a.m. and we don't have to bring a lot of money because there is no fee and food is quite cheap too. But we got to pay for some games if you want to participate. So I think bringing 20 ringgit is good. See you, bye. Okay, this is A. Now, when it comes to B, for Gilbert, the science camp. Hi, Gilbert. Thanks for your email. Yes, it was great seeing you again. I think joining the science camp is a marvelous idea. Since the registration will begin at 8 a.m., shall we meet at 7:45 a.m. at the canteen? It will give us an ample time to walk to the campsite. There's no entry fee, but we need to pay to participate in some of the science games displayed at the booths. I also heard the food is inexpensive there. I guess taking 20 ringgit with us would be sufficient for the day. See you soon. Bye. Now, which one is better? I believe that everyone will say B is so much better. Why? As you can see, okay, thank you, Kaishwen. B is so much better because you can see that the language here is so like conversation, right? Like you have a conversation with a friend. So here it says, no, we can join the camp. Even the grammar is also wrong. The camp start, no, this is simple present. It should be the camp starts at 8 a.m. And you can see a.m. spelled wrongly. It's supposed to be A.M, right? A.M dot. And science lab, okay, although it's a short form, acceptable. But please make sure you try and spell laboratory, much better. And we cannot use conjunction when it comes to the start of a sentence. I already introduced that now for compound sentence just now. No, it's not allowed to be used at the beginning of a sentence. You need to have another sentence here. Then only we can have, and we do not have to bring a lot of money. And food is quite cheap too. You can say, yes, you can use the word cheap, but please, if you want to have or if you want to score really high, try and use more intermediate to advanced vocabulary. But we got to pay for more games. If you want to participate, I think bringing 20 ringgit is good. Again, you want to have good, good email, acceptable for this one, but I would say score maybe I would give around 8 out of 20. But for this one, maybe I would give him or her around what, 17 out of 20. Why? Okay, there is a good flow. There is a good flow of the whole thing. But remember, Gilbert, you need to have a complete email here at gmail.com. The science camp. Okay, fine. Thanks for your email. It was great to see you, seeing you again. So overall, I think it's all right except for this part only. Okay, so there you go. Okay, last but not least, before I wrap everything up, is there any question? I hope not. I hope not. Okay, some of the important notes for you to know. Please make sure that you read and understand the task carefully. Please make sure also you try and brainstorm your ideas in order for you to score quite high in your content. Please make sure ideas are introduced properly. Okay, so that's why you need to brainstorm your ideas. Then use good vocabulary and cohesive devices. I already introduced that to you, and I hope that you took note on that part. And this is another acronym. I love to use acronyms. Okay, KSSI. Keep the sentences simple and informal. This one is only applicable for email only. And do not forget to proofread your piece. Always proofread your piece. How you can do that? Please spare at least 1 to 2 minutes after you have done your writing. Okay, do not forget that. All right. Any questions? I hope the silence says, oh, okay, teacher. Okay, great. Okay, so that's all for me and for you for today. That's all from me for you for today. Thank you very much, everybody, and stay safe. All right, take care. Assalamualaikum. Bye bye. See you all next week. Happy weekends.